So I saw The Inventor this week. The Inventor is a mixed stop motion and 2D animated film about Leonardo da Vinci. And I went into this one really not knowing anything about it. I hadn't seen any trailers for it. I knew it was about Da Vinci, but beyond that, I didn't know much about it at all. I gather it was actually a crowdfunded film because I stayed through to the end credits, and there was a lot of Kickstarter backers that were thanked. The animation is pretty simplistic, which the movie, I looked it up. I think the total budget for it was like $10 million. So that doesn't really surprise me. And I am not opposed to having low budget animation out there. And I can forgive some of the, more simplistic, and because some of the sets can look a little bare, but that's okay. But I'm not really sure who the movie is for. If it's for children, then it comes across as an educational piece that will often just put them to sleep. But if it's for adults, then it has to contend with being at times a serious piece about like the weaponized ignorance of the church and the vanities of royals butting up against the dawn of the Renaissance, and at times being such a silly cartoon that a character walks out of a fight cloud by opening a door in the cloud. I think it was trying to be an educational film for children that attempted to appeal to adults, but when you try to please everyone, you end up with a pretty middling product. Leonardo is depicted as a guy with pretty severe ADHD. He almost never finishes anything he starts, and so many of his projects he agrees to take on as a front while he pursues his real interest of anatomy. Big thing throughout the film is he keeps stealing cadavers to dissect them, and that actually gets him in trouble with the church. The Pope threatens to behead him for it, and he ends up running off to France because the King of France has offered to become his new patron. But even the King of France, he even hides the whole cadaver thing from the King of France. But that's actually kind of part of the emotional hook of it, is because Da Vinci is in search of the anima, the human soul. In fact, every time he is dissecting a cadaver, because the film is, kind of aimed at children, you don't actually see him cutting into a body. Like when you see the cadavers, basically you might see legs sticking out from a sheet or flies flying around it, but it doesn't really get into graphic detail there. But as he is dissecting, it kind of goes into his mind, because like I said, there's a mix of stop motion and of 2D. And the 2D segments have him wearing his flying machine wings, and it's him basically soaring through kind of his conception of the inner workings of the human body as elemental representations. There's a bit where he is interacting with the human senses that are represented by eyes with wings on them, or noses with wings, or there's a knight in armor, but it's the sense of taste, because it's just a big mouth opening up from an armored helmet, things like that. But then there's also kind of this elemental representation of ignorance and fear that looks like this big dark shadowy demon thing that's generally kind of meant to be the Pope. This film is not something that the Catholics are going to enjoy very much, I will say. But one thing I do appreciate about this film is, for a lot of it, we see a lot of Da Vinci's paintings and sketches and everything like that. And we see Vitruvian Man, which is the famous painting of the guy with the 8 arms, the arms in 2 positions. And Vitruvian Man has a penis in the artwork. And, it's not drawn prominently, it just happens to be there. And because this is a film for kids, you could expect them to censor it, but they don't, and I kind of appreciated that. There is a moment where, after it's shown for a bit, I think Da Vinci's head goes in front of it, maybe to prevent it from being on screen for too long, I don't know. But they don't actively try to cover it up for the entire, they don't try and act oh no, we can't show the penis. It's fine. It is an anatomical drawing, trying to look at all of the proportions of the human body and the way it works. And there's even moments where, when characters have discovered what he's actually doing, when they think he's working on something else, and they go through and see all of his sketches as he's been drawing the inner workings of the human body, there are people who look at it and be like, oh, that's how that works. So another thing about the movie is that it's surprisingly a musical. I didn't know that going into it, but it shouldn't have been a musical. None of the musical numbers are memorable, and they are really not helped by the fact that the sound mix buries a lot of the vocals amidst the instrumentation. I could not, there were certain songs where I'm straining really hard to listen to the lyrics, and the lyrics are kind of like important for setting up certain characters, but you literally can't hear them unless you are straining really hard, even though the lyrics are kind of important to those characters. It seemed pretty amateurish there. And like I said, the songs weren't very memorable. I think the film would have done better without them. Ultimately, I think this film is perfect for a hungover teacher who has a lot of grading to catch up on to show their class on a Friday, but truth be told, as a 38-year-old man, I struggled to stay awake through this whole thing. So there it is. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm trying to get my channel monetized, so your view means a lot. Don't forget to toss me a like and subscribe and ring the bell. I stream every Monday and Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific, so catch me live and join in on the convo. You can find all my socials in the description below, and thank you to all my patrons with a special shout out to Piftle Cakes and Ryan D. Your support means the world. Catch you next time.